So today, let's talk about distractions. And no matter what goal you're trying to achieve or what it is that you want to do, right? Whether you want to lose some weight, whether you want to build a business, whether you want to read, build, like whatever it is, anything that you want to do, there's going to be some distractions that are going to pull you away from this goal that you want to do. Even let's just say you're an entrepreneur, right? And you're building a business. There's going to be distractions in that business that make you feel like you're still working on the business, but it's a distraction. So let's break that down into some examples. So if you're in a business and you're an entrepreneur and your business, right? You want revenue to run your business, right? To live, to pay your bills, everything you need, like revenue, money, right? Money. Let's just make this real simple, clear cut. You need money to survive, right? So if you're a business owner and you need money to survive, that means you need to do what? You need to create money, right? Now, when you're a business owner, there's 1,000 different things you could be doing. Let's just say you got a barber shop and you're the business owner. You could be outside painting the lines in the parking lot. That's working on your business, right? You could be developing the best new barbershop sign to put on the building in the front. That's you working on your business. But do those things pay you money? What pays you money if you own a barbershop? One, renting out seats, cutting hair, selling products, right? Things that create and generate revenue. So think about this. So I coach and manage insurance agents, and what I see a lot of times is the insurance agents, they get stuck doing things that won't create revenue for their business. For my business, it's simple, right? We sell insurance over the phone. So realistically, all you need to do is dial the phone. That's it. Real simple. You dial the phone and somebody picks up, or you get a voicemail, right? You get a voicemail, you leave a message, you call the next number, somebody picks up, you work on giving them a presentation. If they hang up on you, you call the next number. Super, super, super simple. However, there's other things you can be doing, and you can be doing these things and feel like you're still working on your business, but you're not. So, and I struggle with that all the time, right? Because now I'm helping people build businesses, right? So the stuff I do on a regular basis, it doesn't typically create me revenue right away, right? The stuff I do is for long-term revenue. It's coaching, managing, teaching people how to build their business, teaching them how to do some things. And I have tasks and things and fires to put out and, customer service type deals on a regular basis. And sometimes I find myself, I'm like, man, what the heck is going on? I have so many different things to do. I don't even know where to start. And if you're an entrepreneur or you're trying to build a business or you're trying to hit some type of goal, right? Some type of fitness goal, whatever it is, and you get stuck in this spot where you're like, oh, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? What about this? This person said this. This person on Instagram said this. This YouTube video I watched said this. You got to stop, right? You got to sit there, take a moment. You don't have to take a day. You don't have to take a week. You don't have to take months, right? So when I get in this area and I'm just like, man, what the heck should I do right now? And I find myself, I start something, then I go on to the next, then to the next, then to the next, and I'm not even finishing any tasks because I'm bouncing around to so many different things. And what I realize, I'm like, okay, stop, take a deep breath, right? Stop. Pause, take a deep breath, evaluate. Okay, let me look at these different tasks, right? Again, let's bring it back to the simple barbershop. I don't own a barbershop. I have no barbershop experience, just being honest with you, but I'm just trying to bring something as simple as possible just so people can understand no matter what it is that they're trying to do. So you're in the barbershop, you're like, all right, I could go clean the parking lot, paint some nice lines. I could fix the sign out front, or I could work on getting some people in my barbershop, right? There's a couple different models with barbershops. Sometimes you're renting the seats out, so maybe you have an empty seat. Maybe you need to figure out how to get some barber in there renting that seat from you. How do you do that? Well, I'm guessing if you own a barber shop, you know more barbers. You know some people that used to work there. You know some people from different places you worked at. You call them up, right? You spend time trying to fill that seat because that seat's going to create revenue for your business, right? So same thing. When you're an insurance agent and you're just like, what the heck should I do? It's simple. What will help me create revenue right now? What one task could I work on right now where I have the most leverage to create revenue? And I say the most leverage because there's a lot of different ways and different things you could be doing to create revenue. However, you want to look at where is the most leverage, right? Where is the most leverage? That's why in the insurance business, it doesn't make sense for me to write insurance anymore, right? I am better off mentoring a group of people, teaching them how to sell insurance. That's going to give me a much better return on my time. I have more leverage in that situation because we have hundreds of agents. Now, if you're an insurance agent and it's just you and you're trying to create revenue, you need to focus on that, right? Dialing the phone, getting somebody on the phone. If you work out in the field, do field sales, whatever your system or model is. So this is going to be any business. So I had a landscape business at one time. This was probably one of my first businesses. I was in my early 20s, and actually in my later 20s. Now I think about it. And a landscape business was simple. I was doing lawn maintenance. I was cutting people's grass and charging them. That was my business. And I had a few clients. And where I fell short, where I didn't know what I was doing, I was an inexperienced business owner. I didn't understand the activity that I had to put in. Honestly, I was probably just being lazy, fearful, all these other things that come up, just a big case of the don't wants. But realistically, when I stopped to cut somebody's yard, and I didn't have a lot of clients, but when I stopped and cut somebody's yard, what I should have done when I was done with that yard is walk down the street and knock on every single door and offer my free services. Heck, I'm already there. I might as well offer a free cut. Maybe they'll want me to come back the following week, right? But what I would do is I would just run off to the next yard, and I might have to cut 3, 4, 5 yards that day. Most of my time would be drive time, and I wasn't really maximizing the situation or maximizing where I'm at. So again, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, really look at what you're doing and then look at what are you missing. What are some things that you can be doing that's going to help you be more successful? What are some things that you could be doing that's going to help you create more revenue? Guys, entrepreneurship is only hard because a lot of people make it hard, right? And I'm not saying it's easy. It's definitely not easy. You have to be able to have a pain threshold above the average human being. You have to be able to put work in without knowing what's going to happen, right? You know, you're not training, right? You're not trading time for money. You're not saying, hey, listen, I will work these hours and you'll give me this salary, and you know it's definite. I work these hours, I get this salary, right? You're putting in some work for an indefinite amount of money, maybe nothing. But typically, the reason we all wanted to be entrepreneurs is because we want to actually make more money for our time. But to get more money for our time, what does that mean? That means we need to increase our skill, and not just increase our skill, right? Because there's some people, that's all they do. They work on getting the most skillful they can, right? That's all they're doing. They're taking sales training, they're taking courses, they're taking classes, they're watching YouTube videos, they're studying script, they're doing all these preparation things. And again, that doesn't pay you either, right? What pays you is activity in income producing things. So I hope you got something like that, guys. A friend of mine, someone I respect a lot, he told me I should be doing a daily blog on YouTube. So I'm going to do my best, upload a YouTube video a day, sharing some things that I've learned, current things that are going on in my business that I'm learning. And the reason I picked up this mic and turned on my camera today is because I was in this personal spot myself. I was sitting there, it's like, dude, there's so much stuff I want to do. And was getting overwhelmed. I was getting overwhelmed. and I was trying to figure out, like, all right, wait a second, what is going on? I was like, you know what? This is a great topic to talk about. This is a common thing, right? Because as an entrepreneur, your gears are rolling all the time. You're always thinking, like, what could I do? How could I optimize? What am I missing? How do I get more clients? How do I help more people? You know, what other lines do I sell? What other products do I sell? What makes most sense right now? What do I stop doing, right? A lot of times it's like, what do I stop doing? You know, there's a lot of times with insurance agents, I see people and they're trying to sell every product in the world and they haven't had success with just one yet, right? And to me, it makes no sense. You know, look at Amazon. Amazon mastered selling books first. Once they mastered selling books, they sold everything, right? So for me, I mastered final expense. Now that I have final expense mastered, now I'm working on, we just launched our Medicare division, just wrote our first 5 Medicare apps. We got a Medicare webinar today. Already 130 plus people registered. We had 130 plus people registered last week. So we got a lot of people excited to join the TPG Medicare division. So a lot of great things. But first, I had to master final expense, create a final expense business that would operate even if I took a month off, a week off, a year off, 6 months off. My business will still operate because of the employee systems and processes I put in place, which is what I'd like to teach other people to do. So again, I'm going to try to work on doing a daily blog. And if you like this, if this is some kind of content you like, let me know. Put it in the comments. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that follow. And super excited to see how this goes. Remember, never